2 sessions to finish our artwork, and you have a choice. You can leave your drawing just as it is and paint it, or you can add details to your drawing to help turn it into something that you saw in your imagination. So before even getting out your paints, take a moment to make sure your drawing is exactly how you want it to be. I decided to leave my drawing as is, without any extra details. Once you have your drawing and you're satisfied with it, you're ready to paint. You'll get out your paints, your water, your brushes, and a rag, and you're going to start painting the big areas first. That's probably going to be your background. You want to paint the big areas first because with paint, you can paint on top of other paint. So if you start with the background, you'll get a cleaner image as you paint the background first and then paint the parts in front, because you won't be trying to paint around the smaller parts. When you are painting, the water is just as important a tool as the paint. The more water you add to the paint, the more transparent the paint is going to be, the more like watercolors it is. You can take one color of paint and make many different shades by adding more or less water to it. The more water, the lighter the color. This is helpful to know and think about when painting an object that you want to look three-dimensional, or like it could stand in the real world. To make an object three-dimensional, you need to show where the light is hitting the object. So take a moment and imagine that you have a flashlight and are shining it on your object. Think, what parts of the object would the light hit? What parts would be in shadow? The parts that you think the light would hit should be the lightest. So you would paint those parts with paint with a lot of water in it, so a light wash, or with lots of white and light shades of color. The parts in shadow would be painted with paint with not so much water added to it, or with darker shades of color. So to recap, you want to start with your large areas first, and to make a light color, you add a lot of water. To make a darker color, you would leave the paint without much water added to it. If you want to make your object look three-dimensional, or like it belongs in the real world, you imagine a flashlight shining on your object, and you paint the areas that would be hit by the light, the lightest, or wash, so you would use paint with just a lot of water in it. And the areas that would not be hit by the flashlight would have the darker paint, so the paint that doesn't have a lot of water added to it.